White population of the United States by 2030 is going to be 49% or lower. I jump over here to the Associated Press. Census shows U.S. is diversifying. Do you see how the author does this here? Diversifying instead of course, the author wouldn't say white erasure. But note well that the anti-whites, when an area is being white erased, they call it a moral good under the rubric diversifying. Remember that. Share that with those in your circles of influence. Census shows U.S. is diversifying, white population shrinking. The U.S. became more diverse, right? The U.S. is now more white erased and more urban over the past decade. And the non-Hispanic white, so we translate that to be Western kind, population dropped for the first time on record. The Census Bureau reported Thursday as it released. Now, remember, when they're saying there that the population, the white population dropped, they're not talking about relative to the non-white population, because that's been happening ever since the 60s, ever since the anti-whites said, okay, we're just going to white erase the shit out of the United States. This is that it's actually dropped. That's what they mean. For the first time on record, the Census Bureau reported Thursday as it released a trove of demographic data that will be used to redraw the nation's political maps. I'm going to point out also that this is just the prediction of 2030 is a prediction based on things remaining as they are right now. But you have this brand new immigration material coming through in the federal government that, when passed, will enable employers to have half of their employees non-white, foreign-born. And that's where they're going to be drawing is non-white countries, half of their employees from foreign countries. And so you better believe they're going to be bringing them in faster than you could count, or any supercomputer HAL, the supercomputer could count. They're going to be bringing them in. The new figures offered the most detailed portrait yet of how the country has changed since 2010. And they are sure to set off an intense partisan battle over representation at a time of deep national division and fights over voting rights. I'm going to ask you all something. As the white population is white erased from Western countries, wouldn't it be powerful for anti-whites to occupy the white population with arguments over anything else? Like arguments over whether or not a disease is real, arguments over whether or not medications are real, arguments over whether or not anything else that's out there. Wouldn't it be powerful for them to get that white population arguing with itself about all of these other things, rather than the white erasure from their countries? You know, they could be doing the same thing with global warming. They could be doing the same thing with any number of issues, getting everybody fighting over, is it this or is it that or is it the other thing? And meanwhile, the spigots for white erasure are wide open. They are absolutely, the erasers are going as fast as they can across Western civilization. And everybody's worried about all of this other nonsense. All population growth in the United States driven by, and there is that anti-white slur, or another MP rather, minorities. Never, ever, ever refer to non-white people as minorities, and never allow people around you to refer to them as minorities. The white population of the world is minuscule. The white population of our cities, of much of the countryside, already numerically inferior to the non-white population. You point that out. You point out that it's anti-white to call non-white people minorities, because it makes it appear that they are in a precarious situation where they need this endless help from us. No, we are the minority in the countries that we built. When we have been the minority of the world's population forever, they're going to refer to us once we are the numerical minority as legacy majority. They're going to keep us the majority because they know in their verbiage, because they know that's how they're going to continue to easily victimize us. Upcoming census data is likely to reveal, Washington Post goes on, for the first time in the history of the country's census taking, the number of white people in the United States is widely expected to show a decline when the first racial breakdowns from the 2020 census are reported this week. For 5 years now, the U.S. Census Bureau's annual updates of the 2010 census have estimated that the nation's white population is shrinking, and all population growth has been from, here you have it again, a mean pathogen, people of color, excluding Western kind from humanity. Point that out every time. Only anti-whites do that. You know that Tara over there at the Washington Post typing away, and Tara and Ted typing away like drunk little sea monkeys are as anti-white as they come. You know, the Washington Post is as anti-white as it can possibly be to exclude Western kind from humanity. You do that, you dehumanize Western kind, and then you are able to victimize what? The avatar. Who? The avatar of Western kind. You, your brother, your sister, everyone you care about. If the white decline is confirmed by the new data, the benchmark will have come about 8 years earlier than previously projected. So, and what have we been saying, of course, all along, is that when it comes to this kind of data, and I've said this here on these gatherings, that they will lie to you about how many white people are left in your country well past the point that you are a numerical minority. They will then come in and say, oh, by the way, it happened 10 years ago. There's nothing you can do now. We have to get started worldwide making this happen for our people, using the lexicon. Use those 5 concepts we're talking about yesterday: anti-white, anti-whiteism, anti-white narrative, Western kind, white erasure. Spread that far and wide, ladies and gentlemen, because that is what's going to empower the white population everywhere they are, everywhere they live, to defend themselves, and on the basis of our people. And if they defend themselves on the basis of our people, they're defending us.